Welcome back. We are in Edirann today. We're actually building like a cemetery slash, I guess, crypts. I don't really know what to call that building. It's not really a mausoleum. I don't know. Place where we're gonna store our dead Sims. It kind of came to light, especially right after Gallagher Blumstein, aka Newson, died from a random occurrence scenario. Like, I don't have anywhere to put these people. And it hasn't been a problem since this is like a rebuilt Edirann, this like version. I don't even know how many times I've rebuilt Edirann. I don't even want to think about it. But it's been a few times, and I don't have any graves as a result, because every time I rebuild, obviously I'm not going to create Sims that are unnecessary and kill them off. Like, let's try not to corrupt the neighborhood before we even begin, but yeah. So, didn't have very many, but then Gallagher. And he's not going to be the only one, so I wanted to build something to kind of store them. I did not have any ideas about how I was going to do this going in. I didn't even know where I was going to put it. I ended up putting it next to the Zeus Brotherhood, even though it's not like they're going to be taking care of it. It's just, it seems like a good location. They don't care that it's there. I mean, they might take care of it, but it's not really part of their duties, I guess. Although I guess, I know we now, like as people, we try to put cemeteries in places where there's no other people or where we don't have to think about death and dying, but back in the day, there would be a cemetery in your backyard. Like, it was very common. And I know in the East Coast, like, it's still kind of common. Like, you could buy a house with an entire family cemetery on it, and there it is. Like, it's interesting. So yeah, I wanted to have like a little, not driveway, but like a place where people, I almost said could park their horses, and then I realized what that sentence was. But yeah, so they can, you know, tie up their horse, go into the mausoleum, go pay their respects or whatever. I really liked this like white creamy stone with the gold detailing. It's not something that I've used in, I don't think, any of the other buildings in Edirann, so it's kind of special to this. I may use it, but no. I wanted there to be a little bit of a pond, because besides a place where we store the dead, it's also going to be like a place of quiet contemplation. And then I knew I was going to be using the nooks and niches from Buggy Boo, so I was like, I can put that pool tile right inside and not have to worry about it. I actually put off the landscaping for a while, and then I didn't end up landscaping nearly as much as I thought it was going to, which I think fits. Like, for a lot like this, you don't want a whole bunch of plants and trees. Like, I guess you could, but they also want open spaces to place graves if necessary. I was also saving a lot because I was just so paranoid that it was going to crash. It didn't, but like, if I hadn't saved, it would crash on me right at the end, just out of spite. So yeah, I was just trying to figure out which ones I wanted to use, kind of how this layout was going to go. I actually figured something out though. The ones that are under shelves, because there's these ones here, which are under deco, but there's some that are under the shelf category. Those ones go down when the walls are down if they're attached to a wall. I had no idea. That is like life-changing for me, because that's the reason why I don't use a lot of these, is you're trying to play and they're just in your way. Like, you can't see anything unless you move your camera to a weird angle, and it bothers me. But yeah, the ones that are in that other category, this one right here, yeah, they absolutely go away when the walls are down. Mind blown. Yeah, I wasn't really sure. Again, like, I'm just like, I don't know how I want to do this. I don't know which ones I want. I end up using like this roundy bit here. That's the other thing, is I didn't really load this with like lots of decorations and stuff because I'm still not sure. I'm just very uncertain about how I want to go about this lot. Other than I did want these pieces to store urns in. I would have liked to use a lot of the smaller ones, but the bigger ones are also helpful. And actually I used them in a way I was not anticipating, so it all worked out. I could have put the walls in ahead of time, but I thought it was more important to kind of put in the pieces I want to use and build the walls around them. This is where I discovered that. I'm like, wait a minute, those are like fully attached to the wall? What? It's such a great set. Even if they didn't, it's still a really cool set. And yeah, so begins placing tons of these. I don't foresee having to fill this whole thing up, but it just aesthetically looks nicer when it is filled up. And I was trying to keep it all very even, just because, again, it looks nicer and it seems very intentional. And then I was worried about the lines clipping, and then I realized they cut out like that, and I was like, wait a minute, what? Basically, I have not played around with this set enough to use it properly. But we're rectifying that here. I think I need to put lights or something in those like tall niches. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. I was also sad because I wanted this to be like a very narrow one tile thing, but then the doors were not going to work. Because I wanted there to be bathrooms as well, just because it's a Sims lot. You want to make sure that they, if nothing else, can go to the bathroom. There is no food on this lot, so they're not going to be able to stay here long, but the bathroom necessary. And then, of course, I didn't like the doors, so then I had to change them, but then I didn't like any of the other doors. So I went with these just because they were tall enough and they had like an arch on them, so it reflected those corner pieces. I really like how this turned out. For not having a game plan going in, I just think it turned out stupendous. And now Gallagher can have a place to rest because I did not want him randomly floating around the neighborhood. Like, I don't really know if that's what he wanted, but I don't think it is. So yeah, then I was recoloring. I decided to go just with this dark stone color and the gold on the inside because it matched the walls really well. And then I was like, I don't want to have to recolor all these. What am I doing? I should just place them. And then I changed my mind about the corners, which I feel like never fails to happen, is you make a decision and then you're like, actually, I kind of don't like that decision that I made. And then I realized, I was like, why am I filling the corner? Like, that's unnecessary. You're not going to see it. So I deleted it. I love these little corner pieces, though. I just think it looks really cool, and it changes the shape of the room so much. It was really hard to take screenshots of this for anywhere, but I do think it looks good. And at the end of the day, it's going to serve its purpose. It is a functional lot, first and foremost. I don't put any windows just because it doesn't make sense for there to be windows in here. I get to use this really cool tile-looking thing for the ceilings. Because I forget about ceilings a lot of the time, but yeah, I remembered. I should have put marble floors in, but I liked the stone a little bit more. I feel like it's more durable. Because in theory, a lot of people are going to be in and out of here, you know, paying their respects kind of thing. Saving again, because I'm like, nope, 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 you're not going to get me, game. You're not going to do it. And then, of course, we need light. I should have made it nighttime so I could see how it was lighting up, but like, I didn't think about that. I just now thought about that. I was trying to see if that was a light bulb or if it was an actual like candle flame. I really like this light, but it was too low to use inside, so I was like, okay, note to self, I'll put it here and then I'll use, you know, cheat to make it centered. So I just ended up going with these Maxis lights. Honestly, it's not a bad light. I know a lot of the game content gets a deserved amount of crap, but this is not a bad light. And then of course comes my problem with finding a light that I like. that's going to be hanging above everything. In the end, I did not find one. So I decided to go with these candles. I know having them in the corners like that technically makes some things a little bit harder to access, but I just think they're so pretty. They're perfect for this type of lot. Yeah, I went with them. And of course, we've just got 2 tiny bathrooms. There really isn't a lot. There's not a ton of things to do here. I didn't really want it to be a lot that Sims come to for activities. It's very much about, again, storing the dead. I don't know how many times I can say that, but I'm sure there's some kind of record. I just liked how those looked. And I wanted to use one of these too. It's just pretty with the petals and everything. So yeah, pretty basic, but it works. The outside was a little bit harder just because I didn't know how I wanted to lay it out. I don't know if I wanted to lean a bit towards like modern cemeteries, or I had no, again, I didn't have a plan going into this. I don't always have plans when I build my lots. I can be a bit organic about it. So we had a bit of a jump just because it was 40 minutes of me looking for items, but then I forgot to turn it back on while I put stuff in places, so. But I'll walk you through what I did. I didn't do a ton. I mostly just placed floor tiles and fenced off some areas with fake gravestones. Nothing fancy. I did want there to be some foliage, but at this point I really had decided, you know, I don't want there to be a ton of plants and trees and like chaoticness. This should be kind of a more manicured, well-maintained section of the city. Plus, I did not think the Order of Zeus would maintain plants. I just can't see that happening. Can't see it, so rather than a bunch of dead plants, we get this. So yeah, I put horses in. I realized after I was finished recording that I didn't put the doors on that carriage. I do add them, I just forgot. And yes, I know technically it looks like the reins are being held by somebody, but we can just ignore it. I also don't know what the saddle goes to. It does not go to these horses, clearly, because it's not fitting on them, but I tried. I ended up removing it, though, because it just wasn't right. But hey, there's still horses. People are still visiting. There's a fountain. There's like 3 grave areas in the main portion. I used different tombstones, maybe to denote class. There's some peacocks hanging out. You can see the pretty little pond. And then there's like a Tomb of the Fallen Soldier kind of deal in the front, and that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a like, and I will see you in the next one.